Hello, I'm Madeline Tynan from Tynan Motors, and we're down here at Tynan Motors today with Jake Douglas from Southern Districts. Welcome to Tynan Motors.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. So we're going to open up a big can of worms today and find out exactly what's happening at Southern Districts.
Okay.
The chair can't hear you, the coach can't hear you, we're all okay. So tell me, what's happening down in rugby land and how's the team going?
A little bit of a slow start to the year for us, but I'm liking the direction we're going in. So a lot of young players coming through from Colts into grade over the last year and a little bit. So we're just trying to work with that, upskill them and sort of improve them to be, well, semi-professional, first grade players, and drive those standards. So it is all a work in progress, but I think from where we're going and direction-wise, I think there's lots of positives around it.
So when did you fall in love with rugby?
That's a long time ago. But let's go.
Did you start playing young? Because I mean, so I've got the three boys, and one of mine started at 3 because his other two brothers were playing. So we just shoved him on the field, and he just played. Yeah,
I was a little like that, but my family are traditionally a rugby league family. So that other sport that people play.
Yes, well, I can't say too much about that because I'm on the Sharks board, so I have to like rugby league as well.
But it was exactly that. So as a kid and a 4-year-old, you're playing under 7s or under 8s with my middle brother at that stage, and then progressing through the ranks as a rugby league player. And then I was lucky enough to, when I moved to Sydney, one of the first grade players at that time convinced me to come down to a Colts session at Southern Districts.
So when you say move to Sydney, where did you come from? What area?
I'm from Yamba, so up the north coast of New South Wales.
Okay.
My mum's actually from Gombe, so this place was always a second home. But yeah, so moved down as a 17-year-old, still playing rugby league, and then as a sort of 19, guy called Sean Doyle convinced me to come to Colts, and I fell in love with the fact that it was a great community. Yeah, I had essentially 50 new mates that all had similar goals and similar values and morals. And yeah, fell in love with the community spirit of what Southern Districts was.
I think it helps having that area to go to afterwards to have drinks and just bring your girlfriends or friends to actually enjoy the environment as well too.
100%.
What do you think your challenges are being Southern Districts and playing, obviously trying to keep work balance, life?
Yeah, I suppose there's lots of challenges from a number of players. For me at the moment, getting towards the back end of my playing career, I struggle at the moment with my time management through work and rugby.
Right.
But at the same time, I get so much enjoyment out of rugby that I have to prioritise it. Like, I think I would be a little bit insane if I didn't have the out of rugby training and playing, as well as being around people that...
Is that your motivation though? Is that community? What's your motivation to get down there? Because I know rugby training is actually really hard.
Yeah. My motivation, I think, would be at the moment probably a little bit of, it sounds a bit weird, but giving back. Like Southern Districts and rugby and the community have given me so much, whether that is like purpose or my career that I'm in stem from players.
Rugby?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, that's how I got an interview with my job, and then right now I'm sort of, I still love the challenge of rugby, but there's a lot of it is what can I sort of do to ensure that someone as an 18-year-old gets the same sort of experience I do.
I think though, having had the kids go through and then my son-in-law play rugby at the highest level, then they always believed in making sure you studied as well as you played football, so you had something after that game is finished. And I really believe in that if so long as you can get through, because tomorrow you could, hopefully you don't have anything happen, but something could happen, you could have an injury and then you're out, and if you don't have something to back that up. And I find the rugby world really pushes that, and they also, the connections, as you say, that brings that connection of business, and whether it be a trade or whether it be university or whether it just be in working, that community seems to always be working for the players.
I completely agree. It's not specific to a university degree. It could be a trade, it could be genuinely a business. I know there's a few guys that work for our sponsors and things like that.
Your first grade team, are they young or have you got a mixture of maturity?
It is a mixture. Like I'm as I said, quite old, 34. But if you look at our front rowers, I think the oldest one that has played this year is 23, which that position is extremely tough to begin with, but you get better with age in that sort of position. So overall, yes, we have a few older heads, but at the same time, we are extremely young. So
Right. So and they've come through that feeder program of like the doggies and Burraneer and that sort of thing, or a combination?
A few of them have. A few of them are country boys, similar area to where I'm from. But yeah, there's a couple. I think Cam McKenzie is a local junior. I think he cheated in a little bit of rugby league, but has come back to play with us. He's a 19-year-old playing first grade, doing extremely well.
And what's the culture like within the club, especially like first grade going down? What's that culture that's being brought through a change of board and chair and coach?
I think there's always been a good culture with Southern Districts. I think the best part about us is that no matter what grade you're playing, even Colts or women's, anyone can have a conversation with anyone. I think at the moment the board and the coaching staff and everyone that is just sort of elevating that sense of community values and community feel. So I would say just in the last 2 years with Scott coming on board and the changes of the board and that direction, that feeling is just going.
I really like that they said that they're going to try on your training nights, like at the end of that, to have education as well too, and to meet you up with other sponsors and things like that, because that's where you really learn different culture, business culture, rather than just rugby. Not just rugby, but like you put the two together to make a good career out of everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Who would you say has been your major influence on your sporting career?
Ultimately, probably my mother. Not from she didn't play, although she did play netball and stuff like that, but not from a rugby perspective. But she was always the type of person that encourage you to be the best at what you try to do. So she was a driving force for me. I have two brothers that were professional athletes, so they've done...
Got a bit of competition then.
Yeah. Oh, no, not necessarily competition, but they've shown what you can do coming from...
With hard work.
Yeah. So I sort of look at that as pretty impressive, and I've tried to sort of do my best to do the same thing. And
when you pull on that Southern Districts jersey, because I've been to so many games, big games, like if you're playing some of the major competitors out there, and a lot of them have a lot of money. Sydney Uni, for instance, has always been very cash rich as a rugby club. What does that mean when you actually go out on their field versus coming out on our field? I always love it at home, but it is a completely different feeling if you're running out onto that university grade field. How does you feel when you're pulling on your jersey?
I suppose from our field perspective, like we want it to be a fortress foreshore. We want people coming down there. We want to make it as hard as possible. I think when you play some of them teams, like you said, Sydney Uni, Eastern Suburbs, the teams that sort of have a bit more than we do, if that makes sense. I like a bit of an underdog mentality, so that's sort of what you've got to go into those games like, where we're upsetting their party, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I remember I went out of the area to go to school, and if you mentioned the Shire, it was like, what? Where are you from? But now I think we've really stood up, and I can see that push that the board has done, and getting one of the best coaches in to actually help you guys go forward. In saying that, what's the mentality the coach has brought for you guys to move forward? How's he helping you making those steps forward?
So Scott came in last year with a big focus on what it meant to be a Southern Districts player or a rebel, and we did a lot of stuff around not necessarily the professionalism, but like what our standards were, what we did as people to be able to play for Southern Districts. Yeah. And this year we've just sort of jumped on the back of that and gone, all right, we've laid a platform of what it means to be a player here at Southern Districts, and then now we're taking those little things. He's brought in a few more coaches to support him around skill stuff and defence and attack and lineouts, and now we're just trying to continue to upskill everyone who's there. And
right. Yeah. And the hard work really begins, doesn't it? Well, it's already begun. You did that before. I've seen the pre-season training. It's always not very nice. Got some questions for you though.
Yep.
Who's the fastest player in your club?
That would be the king of Cessnock, Dave Nichols.
Yeah, okay. And who's the biggest gym junkie?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's go with, I'll put Mitty in there. He's looking massive at the moment. Metelli, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his last name.
Worst dressed?
Probably me.
Who's always late? Who always turns up to training or the game late?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to throw Mason under the bus. Mason Duke,
Yeah,
young fella.
yeah. We'll have to give him a bit of a chat. And who's the biggest chirper on the field?
Usually a 9, so I'll go with John Poland.
Okay, and knowing there's been rugby players on different television channels on different shows, who would you think would win Survivor if they went out there and out of your club?
But, you're going to get her on later on. Well, I'm going to go Georgia Moore
Yeah.
for the women's program. I've seen her with a cowboy whip, so...
You reckon?
Yeah,
Okay, we'll have to throw that question out to her. One teammate you'd never want to tackle?
Again, a Metelli, just a wrecking ball of a human being. So,
Well, that's it. We're really looking forward to... Oh, must ask, who's going to win this year?
apart from Southern Districts,
Who's probably the hardest team that you'll see going forward? Probably in the men's one only.
Yeah, we'll go with Warringah. They won the comp last year.
And they're back strong.
Yeah, back strong.
Have they got old heads, young heads? What do they got?
Mixture. Again,
Mixture?
they're
And who's coaching them?
Josh Holmes is the coach there, I believe.
Okay.
So he was an ex-player, played first grade, played a little bit of Super Rugby, I think, as well.
Good. Well, it's been lovely having you. We're really looking forward to the season. I know that you'll do your hardest and work for Southern Districts. Let's bring home a win for the Sutherland Shire.
Let's go.